Hi everyone, this is Brian Hayes, and welcome to the 12th video in our series on classic guitar riffs. Today we look at perhaps the all-time classic song composed specifically for the guitar as an instrumental. Arthur Smith's 1945 classic Guitar Boogie. This song went on to sell more than 3 million copies as an instrumental recording back in the 1940s. That's an amazing result, and it really set the guitar up as a feature instrumental instrument. It predated the success of Bill Haley and the Comets and Chuck Berry and the established rock and roll pioneers. But many of the features of rock, the 12-bar blues, the repetitive melodies, the swingy, catchy rhythms, they're all found in Arthur Smith's Guitar Boogie. So let's have a look at just the introduction today and the first part of this song. And I'll take you through now on the acoustic guitar, the notes and the fret positions as per the version that I played at the commencement of this tutorial on my Gibson ES345. Before I take you through the notes for Guitar Boogie, I'd like to take just a moment to recognise a fantastic guitar player that was very influential for me when I was a kid growing up here in Australia, Lennie Hutchinson. He was born in New Zealand, but he came across to Australia and became one of the top session players based out of Sydney. And in the early 1970s, Lennie Hutchinson recorded this record live at a club in Sydney, just with a 5-piece band, Guitar Spectacular. The opening track on this album is Guitar Boogie, and it's Lennie Hutchinson's version of it, but he sticks reasonably close to the original Arthur Smith version. And it's the Lennie Hutchinson live version of Guitar Boogie that's ingrained in my mind forever as an example of fantastic, simple, melodic lead guitar playing. If you can get hold of a copy of this album, I strongly recommend it. It's just fantastic lead guitar playing, all done live, no overdubs, no patching it together, and played on Lennie's Fender equivalent of the Gibson ES345. I forget what the model number of that guitar is, but he gets a beautiful sound out of that instrument, really warm, really melodic. So Lennie Hutchinson, Guitar Spectacular, an excellent version of Guitar Boogie. Guitar Boogie was originally recorded in the key of E major, and it only has 3 chords in it: E, A7th, and B7th. And once you get your ear familiar with those 3 chords, it'll be very obvious when the chords change within the song, once you start listening to it. However, today we're focusing only on the lead guitar, and right now we're looking at the introduction. Okay, quite straightforward. The main challenge is the use of what they call quaver triplets or swing quavers. A quaver is just a half-beat note, but we don't play Guitar Boogie in classical music style. We don't go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We don't give each of those half-beat notes the same mathematical time. We play the first note longer than the second. Now the best way to get your mind around this is to do as the jazz wind instrument players do, and that is to vocalise it. Now the 2 common syllables that jazz trumpet players and sax players and flute players etc. use, trombone players, are do and da. Do da 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 do da. If you sing do and da, it automatically rolls off your tongue in the right timing. You've got a long note and a short note. Do da 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 do da. That's the start to Guitar Boogie. Low E, the open 6th string. B, the 2nd fret on the 5th string, on the A string, the 2nd fret. So it starts just with the low E string. Then we bring in the B. So the B becomes the short note. It becomes the da. Do da do da do da do da. So that's an E to a B. E. So it starts just on one note. Do da 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 do. Then 2 notes. Do da do da. And right at the end, you just do a slide up the guitar neck on the low E string. It doesn't matter how far up you go, and if you watch my opening riff, my version of it on the Gibson ES345, I'm not particular how far up I slide. It's just an effect. Okay, it's just how we bring ourselves into the start of the song. Now, if we move into the song proper itself, I'll play slowly the melody. This is the actual tune of Guitar Boogie. Now that's the first part of the melody, and that happens while the band is playing an E major chord in the background. So let's just have a look at that section. So everything's played in those jazz quavers, the do-da style, the same as the introduction. And we've got 2 of every note. 2 E's, then 2 G sharps. G sharps played with the 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the E string. So we're playing Guitar Boogie with our hand based from the 2nd fret, not the 1st fret of the guitar. Okay, so we slide our hand up so that our index finger is assigned fret 2 instead of fret 1. And then all of our other fingers fall into place on the appropriate frets. So we've got 2 E's, 2 G sharps, 2 B's, which we learnt in the introduction, 2 C sharps. Now C sharp is the 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the A string of the guitar, the 5th string, 2 of those. Then 2 E's. E is on the D string of the guitar, the 4th string of the guitar, the 2nd fret. Then backwards, 2 C sharps again, 2 B's, 2 G sharps. And you do all of that again. So I'll just do it slowly. E, G sharp, B, C sharp, E, C sharp, B, G sharp. Again. Now what happens is now the chord changes in the background. The band now plays an A 7th chord. And we move that exact riff down 1 string. So we start the same finger movements, but now we're on the open A string, the 5th string of the guitar. And we go A, C sharp, E, F sharp. So F sharp is the 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the D string. 2 of those. And then we move down to A, which is the 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, the 3rd string. So 2 A's. Then backwards. Now, unlike the first part, we only get to play that riff starting on an A 1 lap through. So we don't get to repeat it. So I'll just play the A riff. Then we go back to how we started the song, exactly how we started it. But we only get to play it once this time. Okay? Now this final part of the melody for Guitar Boogie is where the band changes now to a B7th chord. And this part of the riff is completely different from the first section. I'll just play it first of all. Okay, now I'll take you through those notes, 2 of each, 2 Bs, 2 C sharps, we've had those before. The next note's D. You can reach out and use your little finger if you want to, but I think it's more natural in this case to slide your 3rd finger up to the next fret to play the D on the 5th fret of the A string, 2 Ds, then slide back, 2 C sharps, 2 Bs, 2 open As, the 5th string, 2 G sharps, then 2 F sharps. F sharp is on the 2nd fret of the 6th string. So I'll just play that one more time. B, C sharp, D, C sharp, B, A, G sharp, F sharp. And then to round the song off, the chord now goes back to E major, and the last little part of the melody is this. So 2 E's, 2 G sharps, 2 B's, 2 C sharps, and then 2 E's like that. Now what happens after that is you go right back to the start, not to the introduction, but to the start of the tune, and play everything exactly the same again, with one exception. You'll notice that when I filmed the opening version of it to this tutorial, on the end of the 2nd time through, I played a slightly different ending, just to add a little bit of variety to it. So the 2nd time through I went like this. Just that last little riff there. Instead of going, I went. So let's just learn that. E, F sharp, G, G sharp. And they're hammer-ons. So I hit the F sharp, I go E, hit the F sharp, and then hammer my fingers on to the next notes. You can pick them if you want to, but the notes are E, F sharp, G, G sharp. So ba da 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 da. So E, F to F sharp, G, G sharp, all on the E string. And then the next bit is B, C sharp. And then 2 E's to end. And that's part 1 to Guitar Boogie. I hope you've enjoyed working your way through the introduction and part 1 to Arthur Smith's all-time classic instrumental, Guitar Boogie. As always, keep in touch via my website. That's www.brianhayes.biz, B-I-Z, Z for Zorro. Drop me an email if you have any fundamental questions about playing the guitar, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's the best way to keep up to date with all of the new videos as I post them for the many instruments that I play and teach. Bye for now.